and welcome to another edition of the Fatu Network News Review. My name is Omar Wale. Today, 14th September 2018, I will start with the Standard newspaper. And in the studios here I have with me Basiru Gassama. We'll be discussing about the interview Fabakary Tombonjata had with the Standard newspaper, that out of 100%, he rated Barrow 25%. I'll also be talking to Coach Pasamba Jau on the same issue. And in this news review, President Barrow swear in the Land Commission. The chairman, Justice Raymond Sock, has been swearing in with 4 other members. Justice Minister Abubakar Tambedu has also shed light on the pardoning of a Norwegian who was convicted of pedophilia. And the Secretary General, Ibrahim O. Kamara, has been swearing in today as well. And the Justice Emmanuel Diouf also present the findings from the Faraba Commission to President Barrow today at the State House. But before all that, I will start with the Standard newspaper, and Fabakary marks Barrow 25 out of 100%. The interim leader of the former ruling APRC party, Fabakary Tombonjata, has said that out of 100%, he marks President Barrow 25. And he made these remarks during an interview with the Standard newspaper. And when he was asked if that is not grossly unfair, Fabakary said his decision is inspired by the fact that many key areas have not been given any attention so far. And further asked again if that was unreasonable and impatient with the government that has barely settled down. Fabakary said the government has not done anything that put things in order. You know, when the government took over and there were criticisms about they not focusing or they did not do enough, and the complaint they always, or the excuse that they give was like, we inherit a bankrupt economy and there was no smooth transition. And Kamara bounced back as Secretary General. The Secretary, you may know, the former Secretary General and the head of the Civil Service, Habib Drame, has been relieved of his duties and he has been replaced by Ibrahim O. Kamara, who was sworn in today at State House in Banjul. And the King of Lesotho also will arrive in the Gambia today. And he said the Standard is reporting that His Majesty, the King Lesotho III of Lesotho, Special Ambassador of Nutrition of the UN Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, excuse me, will be visiting the Gambia from today, Monday to Wednesday, to highlight the link between nutrition and agriculture. And during his visit, His Majesty will meet President Adama Barrow at State House on Tuesday, as well as other high-ranking officials to discuss progress made on National Nutrition Program. And the brother of Baba Job, who was former majority leader, said that has called on the government to quick return the assets of the former Jammeh ally, who later fell out and he was sentenced for 9 years. He died at the end climax of his prison terms. He said the assets were frozen and part of even the family property and the account were all taken away from them. And that is all we have for Standard. The Point newspaper is reporting that government to create over 10,000 jobs in 3 years. This is an excerpt from President Barrow's State of the Nation address, which was held last week. And the first ever national security policy is in the pipeline. The Point is reporting that the retired Colonel Mamadou Badji and President Mamadou Badji, of the President of the National Security Advisor, has disclosed that the drafting of the first ever national security policy for the Gambia is ongoing. And probably the most critical deficit that perpetuated the malfunction of Gambian security was the absence of almost complete and overarching policies, which is described the security institution beyond the constitutional provisions. And they are also reporting that SG Habib Drame has been relieved of his duties. Meanwhile, the Daily News is reporting that Trump going on Jammeh's part. David Rosid, a retired American soldier, has drawn striking parallel between Donald Trump's style of leadership and that of the former Gambian President Yahya Jammeh, alleging that the U.S. President is fast becoming a dictator. The Daily News also reporting that Barrow drops civil service chief, And Faraba Commission present findings to Barrow. They also reporting that today. And the Voice newspaper was just the same story, reporting that SG Drame has been relieved of his duties, and they also reporting that Barrow's commission Barrow commission new ambulances to health communities, and the draft national security policies also. They also reporting similar story. And on the Fourier newspaper, Gambia Ports Authority commenced maintenance of Kanilai Ferry. The Fourier is reporting that the Gambia Ports Authority has on Saturday begun a 7-week maintenance on Kanilai Ferry, which will cost $6 million. The move, according to the officials, is meant to the move. Excuse me. According to officials, is meant to address the problems of delay at the Banjul Barra crossing point, safety and passengers, as well as effective service delivery to the populace. And that's all we have for you on the papers today. They're also reporting that Secretary General Habib Drame has been relieved of his duties. Before I talk to my guests, I will look at a story today. The Secretary, the Abubakar Chambedu, the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, has shed light on the case relating to the Norwegian who was pardoned by President Barrow. You may remember the Norwegian, alongside with Gambians and some Senegalese, were pardoned by President, but it was an outcry saying he was a pedophile. And today at State House, he was told journalists there is shed light on this matter. So we will take a listen to that. And
for the real officer 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
Well, I think that issue is now water under the bridge. We have gone past it, but the only comment I'll make regarding that is, unfortunately, we live at a time when people have different agendas, and knowing fully well that the Attorney General is away on the Hajj, praying for the country, some unfortunately attributed personal responsibility for the granting of pardon to the Norwegian man who was convicted for sexual offenses. Now, it's unfortunate that was the state. I had to come out in view of the fact that people attributed it to my person. I saw an article which says under the hand of the Attorney General, which was a most disingenuous statement to make. So I was compelled to come out and clarify not only the fact that I did not make that recommendation, but also the fact that throughout my tenure in office, every recommendation that was submitted to the President for pardon excluded 2 categories of prisoners: those convicted of homicide and those convicted of sexual offenses. And they can go back to the record because the pardons are gazetted. So to turn around on this occasion and make a personal attribution of this recommendation to me when they know fully well that I am out of the country was very, very unfortunate and regrettable.
TAF Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets, and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GTBank, EcoBank and Trust Bank. TAF Africa Global. Our experience is global. Our focus is Africa.
That was the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Chambedu there, shedding light on the pardoning of the Norwegian who was pardoned by President Barrow a few weeks ago, and the decision was rescinded. And today, during a meeting at the State House, the Justice Minister shed light on the issue, saying they waited until he was out of the country and that decision was taken. Meanwhile, the President of the Republic today also swear in this new Secretary General and the head of the Civil Service, Ibrahima O. Kamara, and the Deputy Secretary to Cabinet, Rohia Ka, today. And we will take listen to that clip too, and when we come back, we continue with other stories.
I, Ibrahim O. Kamara, having been appointed to the office of Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service of the Republic of the Gambia, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of the Gambia according to law. So help me God.
As Deputy Secretary to Cabinet, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of the Gambia according to law. So help me God.
I am aware of the enormous responsibility that goes with this position. And I must make a frank admission that I had a busy weekend this following the announcement. A lot of well wishes, calling and texting. And I felt like the burden that goes with this job is just too heavy that I wish that I could have been appointed quietly and silently by His Excellency, and I come into the office only for people to know later that I am the Secretary General. But I thank him very much. I take this as a challenge, and in Allah, inshallah, and through the principle of consultation that I intend to broaden with every Gambian, from honorable ministers, from His Excellency the Vice President, right down to the layman or anybody in the village, I intend to open my doors to listen, to
that
consult,
was the newly sworn-in Secretary General and the head of the Civil Service, Ibrahim O. Kamara, there talking shortly after he took the oath of office. And the President also today swear in the Chairman of the Land Commission, Justice Raymond Shock, with 4 others at State House today. This are the. We'll also take a short listen to that clip also.
Justice Raymond Shock, having been appointed as Chairperson of the Lands Commission, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of the Gambia according to law. The importance of the Lands Commission is sufficiently reflected in its functions under Section 14 of the Act, which are to advise the Minister for Lands and Regional Administration on policy matters relating to land administration with a view to ensuring strict adherence to those policies and transparency in land allocations, to investigate disputes on land ownership and occupation in any area in the Gambia, to assess land rent and premium for properties, to monitor the registration of properties and inspect land registers and records.
We are gathered here today to inaugurate the Lands Commission in fulfillment of the constitutional requirement and, most importantly, the desire and commitment of this government to address land and land-related problems in the entire country. We are all aware of the land and land-related problems over the 22 years of the previous regime, which this government is resolved to solve.
Thus today marks another milestone in our efforts to put the country on the right path in ensuring that conflicts emanating from land administration are addressed. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, as a country, we have been hurt because the foundation of our democracy had been shaken and corrupted. The former government abuses the rights of citizens, and many communities lost their land for political or dubious reasons. As members of the Land Commission, you have been trusted to guide the country in land administration to promote peace and stability.
South Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the
That was the president. That was President Adama Barrow there talking at the swearing-in of the Justice Raymond Sock, the chairman of the Land Commission. Meanwhile, human rights lawyer Emmanuel Jouve has today presented the findings of the Faraba Commission of Inquiry to President Barrow today. You may remember there was an incident in Faraba where villagers lost their lives and some paramilitary officers also were wounded during the incident. The caterpillars and trucks were also set on fire and vandalized, and some compounds also were vandalized. A commission was set up to look into the case. So we will take a listen to that clip as well.
Replace your 3G officer 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
The commissioners for conducting their work with diligence and speed, and for coming up with such a detailed report in such a short time. It took them 2 months to conduct this inquiry, which must have been a very difficult one as well. They took the time to visit the different locations, not only at Faraba Banta, but also at other parts of the country, including Gunju and Sanyang, to ensure that as part of their mandate, they make recommendations to prevent a recurrence of the Faraba Banta incident in other parts of the area, in other parts of the country. Having said that, I have looked at the report. I have had a preliminary review of it, and the report certainly touches on very, very important and burning issues. It catalogues an error.
Coming to that, the errors,
Yes.
what exactly are you trying to do?
Well, at this point, I cannot go into the details of it until I conduct a more detailed review of the report. But what I'm sharing with you is my preliminary views based on a cursory reading of the report. The full report will be published in due course, together with a statement from His Excellency the President on the actions that are taken or that are to be taken in accordance with the Constitution. And notwithstanding, I can share with you the fact that the report highlights a catalogue of errors, ranging from lack of consultations among key stakeholders, also mistrust, lack of coordination, but also the report touches on very fundamental issues about the role and responsibilities of government departments.
So is there the possibility of prosecuting those who are found wanting?
I can assure you that if the report makes recommendations about people who are responsible for a crime, those people will be prosecuted. There's no doubt about it. And these crimes not only include the deaths of civilians, the killings, but also the destruction of property.
Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets, and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GTBank, EcoBank, and Trust Bank. TAF Africa Global. Our experience is global. Our focus is Africa.
Those found wanting be prosecuted. Those are the words of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Tambedu there, talking to journalists after the commission set up to look into the Faraba, present their findings to the President today at the State House. Well, I'm in the studios here with Mr. Basiru Gassama, and we'll be discussing about the interview Fabakary Tombong Jatta, the interim leader of the former ruling APRC party, who said he marks Barrow 25 out of 100. So Mr. Gassama, welcome.
I'm happy for you to have me here today. Today is on the 17th of September 2018.
Right.
When I came from Mecca in 2016 on the 17th of September, if I told they play my interview with DRTS, how Fabaka and others are acting today, they will not act like that. In any position, one is not permanent, it's temporal. Only the position of Allah is permanent.
Now, let me
Fabaka is just saying what he likes.
Let me interrupt you there. Fabaka said, out of 25%, so excuse me, out of 100%, Barrow got only 25. The reasons being, his decisions are, like he said, his decisions are inspired by the fact that many key areas have not been given any attention. Is that true or absolute true?
That is false and unfounded, because what I can understand, we the Gambians compare to the 22 years rule with the 2 years of President Barrow and his government. Obviously, Gambians are enjoying peace and tranquility. And peace is power. Without peace, there is no power.
Yes, we understand. But what he's saying, whether his performance, if you are to rate Barrow, how much will you?
I will rate him 90%, though, because nobody is perfect. He has arms. What I always tell them is they should be a team together. Everybody achieve more for the development of the country. It's too early to judge the government. It's too early.
2 years, you say it's too early.
It's too
How long
early.
should we give them to?
The mandate of 5 years, that is the constitution, the rule of IEC. We can start to determine. Though we need critics, but let it be a genuine critics.
Is that not genuine? Someone said
no. It's not. It's not.
Key areas have not been given
It's not fair. 25% is too low. He is happy.
You overrate.
If at all, Barrow and his government follow Fabaka Tombong during the impasse, Fabaka should have been in jail today.
Why should he be in jail?
Had they overthrown the will of the Gambian people?
Yeah. How do you mean? Can you enlighten us? What do you say?
During the impasse, who was the majority leader in the house?
Abakari Tombong Jatta.
Who raised that 3 months for Jamaica to stay? They want us to have choice in this country. On the 27th, on the 27th of November, what all I am saying here is true.
Okay.
The Minister of Information, Sirif Bojang, was there. Nene Magdol was in that meeting. Fabaka Tombong was in that meeting. Alkali Luntan Jete was in that meeting. Ex-Alkali Du Bojang was in that meeting. The Deputy Mayor was in that meeting. The Dex officer, late Dex officer Suleiman Diouf was in that meeting at Bakau Community Center 2 days before election. What I told them is what they are dancing to. They were not telling the big man the truth. All of them were just there for their yes sir, yes sir.
Now,
yes sir, yes sir.
You rate Barrow 90%. You gave him. Now,
of course, because of the peace.
Okay, now tell me, peace is relative. Can you point 1 or 2 things you can tell me Barrow has achieved within 2 years? Because you are the same person saying 2 years is not enough.
No. 2 years is not enough.
Now,
what did they meet in the coffers? Even when Jammeh went, these people were going to the central bank looting Gambians. These same people are the one talking. Even they are saying that they are not the one using insult in politics. But look at their parliamentarian. A matured man will act like that. We don't need such things in this country.
Let me bring you into this thing. Don't you think you are an integral part of that problem? Because you also benefited from that high.
I don't mind that. That's the will of God. That's the call of Prophet Ibrahim. There are people with millions here. They don't go. I was following them at that time. Where is Fabaka Tombong? I don't see even Fabaka or this guy, Yankuba Koli. They were boy of Baba Job.
Now, why did you switch allegiance from the other side to the other side?
I believe the will of God. Okay, what God did, I accept it.
Okay.
And I told them when I came from Makkah,
right.
when I stepped my footstep at the airport, please accept defeat. If Jammeh accept defeat, the same people who are just selfish for their own interest and the position and the money they were gaining from Jammeh, that is stop, and it will never happen here. Jammeh himself knows that he will never come here. Jammeh's mother died. May Allah rest her soul to Kevin. Did you see the footstep of Jammeh here? Those foolish people who were propagating in the newspaper saying that Jammeh is coming. That's false.
Okay.
What I am telling you, I am urging all Gambians to put politics aside. When politics is over, it's over. We come together. We bury each other. We are Muslim. We are Christian. You know, support the government for the 5 good years. That is the constitution. But these people are saying constitution, 3 years is that constitution? Right. That's an insult to Gambia.
Okay, there is somebody on the line now I'll be talking to. Hello?
It's an insult
Hello.
to Gambians.
Coach, welcome.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I'm sure you read the article where published by the Standard say Fabakary is saying out of 100 he marks Barrow 25.
Yeah. Well, I saw that, and when I opened it, I was expecting that he would expand on it, but it was a very short article. It is a standard practice in any country and democracy where after the president delivers a state of the nation, that the opposition, for the most part, would also issue a reply to that. So that is not to be expected. And I just want to believe that Fabakary Tombong Jatta, who is now the leader of an opposition party, I don't expect him to come and agree with everything that the president said. What I would have expected, though, is that at least he would elucidate on it and at least tell us where he disagrees with the president and what ideas he would offer that would be a better alternative for the Gambian than the ones that were presented by President Adama Barrow.
There is this saying that the boy who cried wolf had a better record with wolf. Did he overrate or underrate Barrow?
You mean Fabakary?
Yes, yes.
The thing is, the problem with you think the problem with Fabakary Jatta is his legacy. Because for 22 years, he was part of a government that had mismanaged our resources, underdeveloped our country, and violated rights of all Gambians. So I don't think most Gambians would take him seriously because he had had the opportunity as a member of the National Assembly, as the majority leader in the National Assembly.
So put quite simply, you are saying Fabakary Tombong Jatta has a toxic legacy.
No, I missed that. Can you ask?
I said, from what you've said, that the 22 years regime, he was part of it, you are saying he has a toxic legacy, Fabakary.
Well, yes, that's the thing. Unfortunately, I think he has definitely a very checkered past based on his influence and what he has done in that country. There was something that he said, that yes, we must agree to have bilateral relationships with other countries, but we must not sell our independence. I agree that any agreement that a government signs must not be one that would undermine the territorial integrity of a country. But I also remember how under the APRC regime, when every time the president of the Gambia was at the United Nations, almost the majority of his speech was there to defend Taiwan and Taiwan's desire to be an independent nation. So all I'm saying here is, yes, the president has given a speech, and it must not be just taken and run with and say it was a great speech, because it's not the deliverance. but also the results, because this is the second state of the nation that the president has delivered. And one must also question the actions of the government. Are we moving forward, or are we stagnant, or what are the concrete policies that are put in place that people are seeing any results from? And from that aspect, one can definitely judge whether the speech was great, because there is, anybody can just come and deliver the greatest speech, but at the end of the day, Gambians do not feed on speeches, but on concrete realities that they live in. And I think there's been a lot of disappointments from Gambia based on what we've seen so far from this government.
Fabakare's argument here is that the key areas have not been given attention as far as he is concerned. What do you make of that, Coach? The key areas, I think, I don't say that they have not been given attention, because the speech, I think, outlined every aspect of governance. Because if you understand how these speeches are made, and I think the other day in your analysis with Dr. Sisi and Sabali, you guys touched on that, is that every sector, every ministry would come and tell us what they are doing. So meaning that there is not a sector that is not being touched. What is important, though, is let's look at 2 years since this government has been in power. What have they done to make sure that these problems that Gambians have? Coach, I want you to yes. I want you to stay on the line. I'm here with Basiru Gassama, and I asked him if he should rate Barrow how much, and he said 90%. Don't you think that is too much or is too little?
Well, you see, like I always said that we've had two extremes in our country that they can see good about it, and those who love this government, so they cannot see anything bad about it. I think it is really 100%, but I think that it.
I missed that. The line is breaking there.
Not the deliverance.
Hello?
Yeah, it's not the deliverance that matters, but anybody can go and deliver it. What matters is the outcome of this deliverance. Now, the first speech, nothing to mark it because he come to power a few months and delivered the speech on the that they want to go. Now, this time, it is important for all Gambians to look at these speeches and compare the first speech to this speech, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do and compare and contrast of these speeches. And I think on our show on the Fatu Network also, that is what we intend to do. And then we'll join it based on the outcome of the promises that have been made. From there, I think you can move. And I was watching the National Assembly today, and from both sides of the Assembly, those that are part of the coalition and those that are in the opposition, you can see that it was a very interesting debate, because people were talking about the realities of the country. They were not just looking at a speech in an abstract and saying, oh, Barrows did well, he pronounced what nice realities. And I think these we can got 90%, 25%. I think these are to.
Thank you so much, Coach, for your time. The line is not that much clear, but thank you for that contribution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Kasama, you talk about the looting. What will you, if you are to tell anybody this is what Barrow did, what will be your main thing that you will brag of?
You know, I am happy with Barrow's government, because Barrow is not pompous. He have tolerance. If at all Barrow did not have tolerance, he doesn't have democracy. These so-called strikes, do you think it will happen? Social Security, even I'm shocked with. Me, I'm a victim with 105 staff by Social Security when they were back in Barrow. You yourself, you wrote about that when whilst you were at Standard. Fourier wrote about it, Point wrote about it, but he did make a follow-up. But the commission presently is revealing the truth. Me, I'm a Muslim. When I die with nobody. I am going to my grave alone. Let Fabaka and others keep quiet. Gambians are no fools. Their time is over. Sadada was here for 30 good years. He's gone. We put all hands on deck and support Yaya. Yaya betrayed us. And they were the one very close to him, not telling him the truth. Even people like me, when we talk, they said we are crazy. But I'm not crazy. I'm honored. National honored. And I am honored at the Sunwin Hotel, where I was a public relation and coordinator of the security and the tour guides. So how can just people say the government is not good? What do they want?
All politicians are the same. They promise to build bridges even where there is no river. You, where APRC...
But I am happy. The so-called bridge they built at Manja here could have been a disaster, but it's built by Barrow's government.
Bridge where?
Here, Manja here, Kotu Manja. That bridge
that is
was
not
built
a
by... It's not a bridge.
That is not a bridge, that is a culvert.
A culvert, yes, so I can see.
Okay.
And from Nyani also, up to Pasimas Road, they are trying to do that. They are the Doctorian laws which Fabaka and others put in our laws. They are changing that. The land reform also is there, you know. So what do they want? Rome was not built in one day. They must give them the government time.
Finally, what will be your final message before you
close? My final message, we are in the Muslim New Year. I wish all Christians and Muslims a happy New Year. And I am urging them to put their hand on deck together and support the government for the 5 years. You know, all this problem is caused by some members of the coalition who were saying 3 years, 3 years. Did they go for a referendum? Did they contact the Gambian masses? Is that the rule of the IAC? Is that the constitution? We are no fools. We Gambians are no fools. And I'm wishing this nation peace and tranquility. Nation without peace, may Allah put peace there. And I thank you also for calling me. Today is on the 17th. I'm very happy. Yes. When I came from Mecca, Yaya said Yaya took me to Mecca, but it's not Yaya, it's the will of God. Even his presidency is the will of God. The ending is the will of God. One should accept that.
Mr. Gassama, let me come in here. Let's say this in Mandinka. Nikoni taketa esano tombo. Ebuka sano jiweke take dulalaji. Obviously, you should acknowledge what Jammeh did. Ela makata sundata.
You know what I did for Jammeh?
No. We are talking about
that. No. I sacrificed my life for Jammeh. When he is in uniform, he cannot pay me that. I have seen Jammeh taking rasulas, giving them car, giving them fat money. Rasulas from our neighboring this thing. That's their luck. And Gambians are here. He is taking biscuit, throwing it to them, to the people, like we are donkeys or cows.
Well, but why didn't
he become pompous? I talk to Jammeh, me. Ask anybody.
Okay.
Even Jammeh himself knows that I talk to him. Even 2 days before he leaves this country at Bakau Rally, you see me going with him. You think I keep quiet? Then I'm not fair with him. I told him what was going on. There were wolves in sheep clothes following Jammeh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gassama, for your time.
And I thank you too. But let them be quiet. We need peace.
Well, viewers, that is Mr. Bashiru Gassama, who I've been discussing with him about the interview Fabakary Tombong Jatta had with the Standard, saying that out of 100 he rated Barrow 25%. So that's all we have for you today. From me, Amar Wali, and my crew, we thank you all. Till tomorrow.